Michigan. This is Grand Tap Media, Breathe in the Grand Show. My name is Pamela Keim, and the spirit of the show is to introduce West Michigan to their neighbors. And boy, do I have a special neighbor for you to meet. Most of you may have known her when you're in West Michigan. She has been doing events that you probably have gone and attended, but didn't realize how that goes. And that's why I'm having her on my show. She is part of Showspan, which is going to be doing the upcoming Grand Rapids International Wine, Beer, and Food Festival, which I volunteer for every year for the last, it's going on my third year. But I am going to be introducing you to Dawn Baker, and she is going to be sharing that event, and she is going to be telling us how maybe you can get involved and be a volunteer. So I want to welcome to the show, Dawn Baker from Showspan. Thank you, my dear, for being here.
Thank you, Pam.
You know, I know we talked about this last spring, and you're like, you know, wait till the big festival comes, and here it is already.
Right, and you know, and I did appreciate you had come to me right after our show season, and so your viewers might be saying, what is show season? So if you've attended the West Michigan Golf Show, the Michigan International Auto Show, the RV Camper, and you know.
I'm not a camper, I'm a golfer. You know,
all of those things. Our company has been in the area for 75 years producing consumer show events. So half of them are here in the Grand Rapids area, but we also have other locations in Michigan and in Wisconsin where we produce events, all focused on a lifestyle. And that's what this event is about as well.
Right.
So the Grand Rapids International Wine, Beer, and Food Festival started 12 years ago, but even 4 years prior to that, we were doing research.
Okay, so the spirit of the show is we're going to tap in. We're already our friends, and you are but a sponsor of some of my events that I have been doing. But what I really want to know from you, because I go to these things and I put on little events. When I go to these things, they're huge.
Yes.
And I know you're hopping when we're volunteering. You're just putting people. There's so many bells and whistles to it. I want to show how you got involved with it. Did you ever see yourself doing that? And where do you come from? You know.
So my history is with nonprofits, often chambers of commerce. So I've always had a heart and a passion to live and work in my community and make a difference.
Right.
So you talk about volunteering. This is, you know, where everything meets and comes together. So we produce shows that help people enjoy their lives to the fullest. We help local businesses make a difference in the community.
Right.
And we try to support then other organizations within that community. So just to like take a quick detour to the volunteering component.
Right, that's a big one.
It is, and a lot of people don't know about the festival.
Yeah.
They'll come in and there are wine reps and beer suppliers and
Some of
spirit
them became my
craft.
sponsor.
Yes, yes, exactly. And so all of that is great because we want to introduce our guests of that event to those products. But in addition to that, one of the neat ways that we give back is that we have college programs, nonprofit organizations. They bring students and volunteers in for a one-of-a-kind, unique experience. For a student who might be looking at a career, something in marketing, promotions, hospitality, food and beverage, this is a great way to get hands-on with the public, with a distributor, with a winemaker, a winery, a brewer, a brewery, a craft, you know, cider maker, and really get some education from a different, you know, focus. So they're out there, they're operating in the public, working what they would need to if they're going into any sort of events, marketing, all of that. Long hours, on your feet, putting your best face forward, trying to learn on the spot, adjust, take care of customer service, be able to really give back. So you add that to the volunteer component where organizations can come in, they can earn some money for whatever their nonprofit supports.
How does that work? Because Women's Life did that. And
yes.
How does that work?
So one of the ways that it works is we need a certain group, about 20 is what we're really looking for within a nonprofit organization associated with something that is, you know, community minded. That group signs up for shifts at the festival, and then they are rewarded for coming in individually. Of course, we have a thank you gift. That's a pretty good one.
I got into the golf show free.
Great tickets to some of our other events, or maybe to one of our sponsors, which would be Studio Park. So a movie maybe perhaps you want to take advantage of. But what really makes a difference is that there is a gift, a monetary donation made for every hour that that volunteer works. at the
I
festival.
think that's fabulous.
All
I
of that
didn't-
is tallied, and then those checks are sent a couple weeks after the festival, and it supports local organizations, also college or university programs. It's a great way for us to, again, marry up living in our community, supporting businesses from the area, and giving back.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so when you do the volunteer, do you have to be 21 to volunteer? What's the age requirement?
The age requirement to volunteer is 18 years old. So the Michigan Liquor Licensing Control, we work with them, as you can imagine, to
Right.
make sure that we're producing an event that is correct by law. And they dictate that you can be 18 years to volunteer, 21 years old to enjoy.
Yeah, really.
So,
And I see you out there watching it. Is it hard to keep all of, you know what I'm saying? Women's Life, you know, Charlotte Touche and I are, you know, we're all good friends, and you're in that too. But I mean, just like when you're there, I mean, you're looking around. I mean, what are you looking for? Are you looking for people making sure that are your eyes so trained that you can tell if somebody's questionable? Let's just say you have a volunteer, right?
Well,
all the
luckily-
questioning, you're watching kind of the great things, or I don't know, what are you watching?
So I may be the face of the event today, but really it takes numerous levels of involvement. So if you think about putting the festival together, we are utilizing, and our partnership is with the Voss Place, SMG, Van
Right.
Andel Arena, that group. But really this show in part is a partnership between the Convention Arena Authority, the City of Grand Rapids, Amway, and ourselves. We manage the event. But then there's all these layers at the event. So in order to really make sure everyone is taken care of, we have a lot of people from Showspan that come in and are a part of the festival.
From out of town? They're coming in
No,
now?
they're from our corporate office.
How many are there?
There are 14 of us, but you know, we do the work of 1,400.
I would say I watch you, yes.
What that means is that we take leadership roles, and then we have supervisors in certain areas, and then managers under that to make sure that everyone's taken care of. And part of that is volunteer supervisors, volunteer breaker teams, so that if you need to walk away from your table and you're a volunteer for a little bit, you've got someone who can come in, step in for a few minutes, and then walk out. Again, there's a lot of legal components because alcohol is involved at this event. But we just want to service the businesses and the community to the very best of our ability. So lots and lots of layers. There's a lot of people looking to make
Right.
sure that we can accomplish that and produce an event with excellence that, I will tell you what, has been supported, embraced, and really then now acclaimed by Forbes.
I know, I saw that. I read the material you sent me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I was hoping you're going to tap into that. So what does that mean?
So that means that as Forbes looked at the nation for best fall festivals that you don't want to miss
Right.
in North America, we were one of 12, which is amazing.
That must be really kind of exciting, huh? Considering what's out there in the whole
It's
country.
humbling. I
It
mean,
is.
it
Well,
really
West
is.
Michigan's hopping.
Yes, but it's also an honor. And part of that came, I mean, I have to, you know, this isn't an international event, but I have to say that what's happening in the Michigan wine industry is definitely part of how we got noticed. And we have some great sponsors like Traverse City Tourism that helps make that happen. We have some great wine regions that come to the festival every year and really show off their very best vintages, their very best wines, their very best beers. I mean, it takes this regional focus to have been noticed, but it also takes the intricacies that we were talking about so far of supporting businesses locally and nationally, internationally. Add to that the volunteer component. It's a win-win.
It brings a lot of community together.
Yes.
And when I volunteered there, I met Chad from
Right.
St. Julian. So you get when you become a volunteer there, you get Dawn puts you in these little spots, right? Which is kind of nice. And then what I didn't understand my first time, and I did as I went on to it, Chad kind of the vendor kind of stands behind and lets the volunteer do all of the serving.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
So he's, you know, giving the information of what everything is.
Right.
Right? So you're sitting there with a bunch of samples. That's why you want this one, why you want that. So Chad had all that. And I was out there serving. That was the fun part. Smiling, giving it to him, and trying out these ciders. I wouldn't have tried, honestly. Some of these things I see on the shelf, I don't want to buy because I don't like.
Yes.
So when I got there, I'm thinking, I always wondered what that tastes like. And I went around and I got to sample those. And then, of course, all the food. You know,
Right.
what kind of restaurants are coming in that can you think of off the top of your head that we're able to enjoy?
Yes, absolutely. So there's two things you brought up that I want to just quickly talk about. The first is that the foundation of this festival and the way that we do this is in order to allow you to try what is best, what you already know you like, and then
get out of our comfort zone a little bit.
and then experience new things. So the beauty of it, you're mentioning Chad from St. Julian. So Chad's there, you're the volunteer, you're taking care of the pouring, which does two things. It helps us meet our license requirements through the state. But the other thing is it does allow Chad to then inform every guest who walks up to his table about his products.
Right.
He can ask them questions about what foods they like, what, you know, typically they like in a wine, a beer, a spirit, and he can then lead them to try what he thinks their palate is going to enjoy most that he has to offer. So
They're
that
experts.
interaction, yes, that engagement. But, you know, so often we think, well, I'm not sure I want to buy that bottle of wine. I'm not sure I want to buy that beer yet. I want to see what it tastes like. This is a great way to have a tasting room experience with over 1,600 beverage products. And that includes coffee, so it's not all about alcohol.
I love that part too.
Yes, right. There's a lot of non-alcoholic wines, some beers. There's a lot of new seltzers with and without alcohol.
I did that last
Coffees.
year.
Yeah, I mean, it's
easy,
convenient.
White Claw.
White Claws.
I would have
is what you're thinking
Claw.
of. Yes.
I would have never tried it, honestly. But I couldn't believe how light that was for summer.
Right. And that's a national brand, but there are a lot of even local brands that are now canning and or producing some very unique beverages. For instance, I have to tell you, one of my new favorite coffees is Strong Brew. It's a brand out of Traverse City. They have a nitro coffee in a can. So portable, I can take it anywhere. Midday is kind of my thing. At about 2 o'clock when I'm starting to be tired, because you start your day at 5 a.m. And by 2 o'clock I'm needing a little pick-me-up. And I will break into one of those cans, and I love the flavor. The nitro is just an extra special punch to it.
I might have heard that. You might have mentioned it to me when we were having lunch.
I'm thinking,
is it in the store? Or where is it?
It is in some specialty shops, but you can get it. The closest place I'm thinking of might be Bridge Street Market. So that might be the next stop after this.
Yeah, really. I love coffee too. Absolutely.
Yes.
And so if I was a volunteer, they'll walk me through this, right? And I'm looking at it in my organization that, like, you know what? Maybe we want to give this a try this year. Are you still looking for?
We have a few openings, so absolutely go to our website. There's a ton of information there, right? From what you're going to experience at the festival. We'll go back to restaurants in a few minutes, but what you're going to experience there, whether it is through the beverages, whether it is that you're looking for music, because we have that all weekend long, whether it is that you have a seminar that you want to take in. So this is an educational event as well. A lot of people look at it, oh, it's a great tasting room experience. Yes, but it also has a lot of educational components. We talked about the one-to-one engagement, being able to talk to some of the winemakers or some of the people that are working in those specific businesses. But add to that we have presentations on the Meyer Food stage, and also tasting sessions all weekend long. There's even workshops. So that has to do with cocktails. But if you're wanting to, you know, really take and impress your guests that are coming for the holiday season, taking in a workshop, taking in a Meyer food presentation where
those are cool.
Chefs are not just sharing recipes, but then what a beverage might be that pairs really well. So you look really impressive, you know, as your ability to be a host.
I did Meyer's for a couple hours when I was relieving someone. You kind of had me as a sub.
Okay.
And so they were going through the food presentation. So I was like, everybody's like, I turned around, everybody's looking at us, and they're doing the presentation, and I was just like.
Well, we have some great presenters. So not only do we have two chefs from Meyer, which is great, but we have Chef Angus Campbell. A lot of people know him from GRCC, the Sakia Institute. He is fantastic. He's been with us since the very beginning. This year, he's actually talking about Mediterranean gnocchi and also pasta. I'm drawing a blank right now. But he's got two seminars, talks about pairing them. We also have Gina Felwirda. Oh my goodness, her presentation this year is on Appy Tales. So she's creating a cocktail and an appetizer that sits on the rim of the cocktail glass. So you get both. I mean, you talk about impressing your guests with that, right? Okay, and she's, you know, talking about different recipes from her Meals from the Mitten book. So lots of great, we've got a local chef, Chef Perky, a lot of people know him from Osteria Rosa.
Sure.
He's making a presentation with Eddie Tadlock, who's from SMG, but what a foodie, has Culture Kitchen, is always experimenting with cocktails, with beverages, so that's a great lineup. We just have some great things to offer.
Are those all on Saturday?
No, they're spread throughout the 3 days, you know, so you gotta.
Well, no, I'm starting on Thursday and come Friday. I mean,
but you do need to come all 3 days. In fact,
but I'll be volunteering I'll probably
true.
with Women's Life on Saturday.
Okay.
I usually do that Saturday night. And it gets really hopping.
Right,
on
it does.
Saturday.
In fact, you bring up a good point. For a lot of people maybe who are brand new to this festival, I would advise to them coming either Thursday evening or Friday evening or even Saturday during the day, because Saturday night is hopping.
Yeah.
We see a ton of people, and if it's your first time and you're just trying to navigate and get to know the festival and see what you like and what you don't, those other times are great windows where you've got a little bit more freedom of movement.
Right.
So the other thing I would say is there's a concierge desk. The minute you walk in the festival, no matter when you come, it's hosted by us. We've got a team of people there that
very
can help
organized.
you, learn how to navigate the whole festival. And there's an app that you can load on your cell phone. So do that now.
Okay.
It'll help you just kind of look at all the different things that are offered at the festival, from pairing restaurants. Pairings are 1 hour seated, unique experiences with a chef, anywhere from 4 to 7 courses of a meal.
There?
Yes. And that's coupled with a sommelier. There's 4 wine pairings. There's also a cicerone, so there's going to be 1 beer pairing. And then we also have a mixologist, because there's 1 cocktail pairing.
Right.
So the restaurants that are participating, the 4, wine pairings, just so that you know, would be, oh gosh, you know how that goes, where all of a sudden I'm on the spot and I'm like, which ones are they? Reds on the Thousand Oaks.
Okay.
We also have vintage, prime, and seafood.
Okay.
We have the new 40 Pearl. Yes. And I'll come back to the last one because I'm drawing a blank. Let me tell you about the spirits pairing. That is 123, which is the brand new restaurant that's downtown, part of Studio Park. And then we also have the beer pairing. That is the Candied Yam, and paired with that is Pawpaw Brewing. So I'm going to cheat really quick, and I know I've missed a restaurant, and I just want to make sure.
You got to get them in.
They are there with a wine offering. So they have a wine table. They're a brand new tasting room on
really
28th
good.
Street in
They're
Grand
nice.
Rapids, but they will be there. The pairing I missed that has a wine pairing is The Kitchen by Wolfgang Puck. And I apologize. I have to say and give a shout out. Amway and their whole team is a big part of us making this happen.
Okay.
If we weren't able to draw on their expertise, a lot of what they supply and can bring to the festival is a very unique partnership. And Amway Hotel Corporation has been nothing but just one of our best partners in making sure that we're able to do this with incredible.
My phone's on too.
Yes. Mine is an alarm, and I apologize.
Okay.
So
from A to B, let me get that. Keep talking there.
Yeah, it's just
like
a
my
great
neighbor.
way.
Remember?
Okay, so add to that there are a lot of restaurants, close to 20 small plate offerings, where they're restaurants from the Grand Rapids area, and they're able to come in and kind of put together a chef's specialty plate. So,
Is there are these fees and to get into these?
Yes.
They have to buy tickets.
That's a good thing to explain, and I'm just going to turn this off real quick to make sure
you
that
explain that one, because I'll have to let
alarm
David know
doesn't go
about
again.
that, because I think he would love to be Angus.
Oh yes,
He's a big fan.
okay.
You know,
Pam, we can make that happen.
he's a big fan.
We can make that happen. So let's talk really quick about how the fees work, because I talked earlier about being able to choose, right, and taste what you would like to. So how we have done this festival for all of our 12 years, how it was designed to work, is there's an entry fee. That gives you, entrance to enjoy a lot of the tasting seminars that we talked about, the Meyer food demonstration. That's all included, your glass program. That's all part of that initial entry fee. But then you purchase tasting tickets, and that allows you to navigate the festival the way that you would like.
Yeah.
So if you just want to come down and try restaurants and have the ultimate dining experience, do that. If that's what you're interested in, what you want to spend time doing, I just shared with you. There's like close to 20 restaurants that are
I know,
participating.
David. Once I tell him, once he sees this, he's going to want to do it. He's going to say,
That's
"What?"
awesome.
Because we've been volunteers, which we
Yes,
love.
right.
But that part of it, you know, that would intrigue him.
Right.
Where can we go? He loves that.
So that allows you to do that. But again, your tasting tickets are how that you would purchase those small plate offerings.
Okay.
The small plates, every restaurant will come in, they'll offer at least one offering that has a $5 value or 10 tasting tickets. But again, it's a smaller serving. We're not, trying to feed you a meal at one restaurant. What we're trying to do is really offer our guests the ability to sample, to try,
That's what I
to
want.
experiment, and the chef to have an opportunity to get really creative and kind of show off, if you will. There's sort of this little bit of competition that happens.
Sure.
What dish are they bringing and what will they be showcasing? But then restaurants often will have other small plate dishes or maybe a dessert or some sort of a little app that you can try. Those are all tasting tickets. That's the currency of the festival, right, is those tasting tickets. We have a lot of gourmet and specialty foods. A brand new one this year, which I'm so excited about. In fact,
Really?
they're
Are they from this area?
sponsoring.
Or are they coming
They're
from
not. They're coming in from both the East and the West Coast. This group of men developed what's called wine chips. They're sponsoring our elite collection. They have 2 flavors right now that are offered that complement both. One of them complements a Sauvignon Blanc and one complements a Cabernet Sauvignon. So here they've developed these chips.
What are
I know,
chips? What
kind
are
of
they?
like potato chips.
Oh,
I know. And they complement wine, okay? So there's all these gourmet specialty foods.
Cool.
Anything from, as we just talked about, chips, crackers, lots and lots of sweet treats. I'm sorry.
I know.
got me.
Well, I'm telling you, I saved my appetite for that, and it has to be really, just really big for me to indulge.
Yes.
Right? Because there's so much.
Well, and that's what's great is sometimes there's much smaller portions so that you can try something from Grand Rapids cheesecake. You can try something from Nothing Bundt Cakes. You can try something
I saw them last year. They were
from
good,
Grimaldi chocolates. So basically, you've got these tasting tickets. That's what allows you to try all those restaurants, those foods. It also allows you to sample then from the beverages. So whether it's a non-alcoholic beverage or an alcoholic beverage, your tasting tickets can be utilized to sample from throughout the floor. And we had to go with a tasting sampling ticket. Our license demands it, but it also is then utilized wherever and whenever you want to experience and sample. Well, next to that Spirit Workshop is the brand new, first year ever bourbon bar. So
now that would be interesting, David, because we do cigars, you know that,
right?
And so that would be something he would really be interested in,
right? You want to find something that has a flavor profile that matches maybe your favorite cigar. Come to the bourbon bar, try some different things. Coppercraft Distillery is sponsoring it, but trust me, it couldn't be a bourbon bar if we just had one bourbon, right? So we've got a lot of bourbon that is there for you to sample and try. We also have some experts on Thursday and Friday who are in that area who can guide you as far as your tasting. And Philip Green, he's actually out of Washington, D.C., but he comes here. He loves the festival. He has some property in North Point, Michigan, so he comes and shares his expertise. He's an author and definitely, an experienced taster who can guide and help all weekend long. So we've got experts throughout the festival. But that leads us into, once you pass through that area, which is right off the vineyard, into Hemingway Hall. And that's where you're going to find the bulk of anything that you might think Hemingway. I mean, Hemingway loved Michigan, right? But in addition to that, he loved cocktails. And so throughout that area, you have spirits that you can try. There are a lot of craft distillers that are bringing in mixers. So if you want to try something new and you don't maybe want to try vodka straight, although I prefer to, you may not. And so in that case,
they could do so much with vodka today than we ever did when we were growing up, right?
Gin, I wasn't sure I liked gin until the festival, and I started trying some different ones. The flavor profiles on a gin, I really needed to see what I liked. And being able to go to the festival gave me that experience before I purchased a bottle. So it really does offer an educational but very unique experience, tasting room experience.
Oh, sure. Okay. So do you still need, let's talk about that. If I was somebody watching this and saying, why didn't I get involved with the wine show?
Right. I have a local business. I have this gourmet specialty item. Absolutely.
Right.
So I know that we're going to do some, tagging and all of that sharing on this program, but yes, I would absolutely love to hear from them. We're full in a lot of areas, but depending on your product, we're going to find a place for you. This is a celebration, not just a pre-holiday celebration for the guests, but we live here, we work here. This is our community. We're going to do our very best for all of the businesses, but certainly local businesses, to find a way to have you participate in this festival yet this year.
Oh, cool. Because, I was thinking, because we are part of the Grand River Cigar. I'm not surprised
Yes.
they're not in the bourbon area.
Yes, well, we
what I
have
mean?
had some people ask in the past, but because we can't smoke on site, there's been a little bit of a, oh, shoot. But you're right. Here's an opportunity. For me, I don't smoke cigars, but I love the smell.
Right.
And so
And it's,
when my brother is enjoying one, I'm all in. I want to plant right next to it, right beside him.
Right,
but
right.
my point in saying that is there is an opportunity. Would love to talk to
Right. Well,
your
yeah.
contact there, and absolutely.
I'll let you get a hold of Amber. She was at the library debut.
Okay,
So
fantastic.
she put in. It's in her bag. She put a card in.
Oh, actually, I think I have that. I pulled out some cards from that bag, and I could grab my purse. It's still in there.
Oh, I tell you what. I opened it up. I went, well, that's a smart girl, and to do that. But she's new in her
Yes.
position. And she wanted to get connected to the Grand Castle and bring people, and that'd be nice. So.
And this is really what the festival is about too. This networking that you and I are doing. We're part of Women's Life. We've talked about that and sharing that, because it's networking. It's about supporting each other, encouraging each other, but also helping build each other up, whether that's personally or professionally. And so I look forward to connecting with Amber. I hadn't. That was a week ago. We've had some personal stuff happening.
Well, it's
over
been
the
a week. I
weekend.
can't believe it'll be a week
Not
tomorrow.
even. Not even.
It's been
Right.
It's been
Oh
been
my
kind of
gosh.
like, you know how it is,
Yes.
right? You're building up to this,
Right.
And then share with Miss how. Okay, so you have this one going on. What do you have after this? I mean, how many weeks does it go before you're on to your next
Right. So
big
before
event?
I do that, I'm just going to remind your viewers, grwinefestival.com, all the details, or Grand Rapids International Wine, Beer, and Food Festival. If you put that in, you're going to find us. We're going to be the top on your Google search, whichever way you rearrange it. So all these details and more, grwinefestival.com, because you had a great experience. We're talking about George Walker III. He had a great experience.
Yes.
Let's have a great experience, either guest or behind the table volunteering, but let's all do that together.
Right, and share.
Yes.
If you come down to the festival, I would say take lots of pictures, share it, because you're gonna be so thankful next year when all these when Facebook automatically says, hey, a year ago about this, and you remember all that. So sure, that's the best way to get information out, and for other people out there. All right, I want to thank Dawn Baker. So we're gonna wrap this up, and this is your new neighbor. She's from Showspan. Find her on Facebook, LinkedIn. You're on YouTube. You're everywhere, right? I mean, I see you everywhere.
You find festival information everywhere. Yes.
That's right. And she would be happy to get you connected to her upcoming events.
Absolutely.
So thank you, my dear, for being here.
Thank you.
All right.
Pam.
All right. This
Appreciate
is
it.
Pamela Keim from Breathing the Grand Show, and we will see you next time to introduce you to your next neighbor in West Michigan. Take care, everyone.